Hey Pod Gang, Simon Gibson here. Podcast is Success Won't Come Calling. Welcome to episode 2. I'm just on my way to the studio and I'm meeting my second guest, who's Bianca Walkden. Bianca is a triple world champion Taekwondo fighter. She's got a bronze medal in the Olympics. She's won European Championships, Grand Prix, and just about everything else there is to win in the sport of Taekwondo. I'm really looking forward to speaking to Bianca about her training. I'm going to be asking her about her nutrition. And above all, I'm looking forward to hearing about the physical and mental toughness she's built up over the years and how all of these things have helped her be a true winner in a very, very intense sport. Also, I'm looking forward to asking Bianca about the challenges she's faced in her career and the difficult decisions she's had to make in her life. These include 2 potentially career-threatening injuries that Bianca suffered earlier in her career. I want to hear how she managed to fight back from them and how she used those awful injuries as a springboard to push on and become even more successful. So, without further ado, are you ready? Good. This is Success Won't Come Calling, episode 2. Simon Gibson here, and this is Bianca Walkden.
So Bianca, thanks so much for doing this.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Great
It's a great place, actually. I love it.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, it's Liverpool Podcast Studios, and it's we really get looked after here, and it's it's set up, isn't it, like a living room, really. So we
fall asleep.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean that could happen, certainly with me, but hopefully not. We do guest rider on the podcast.
Yes.
And you've got us drinking Coke.
Yeah, Coca-Cola. So, original one, yeah.
So where does this fit into the diet of an Olympic athlete?
I know, to be honest, I should be on Coke Zero, but I like the taste better of the original. But to be honest, I thought I'd link it more because I'm quite lucky, actually. I'm actually sponsored by Coca-Cola for the running up to the games coming up, so I thought I'd get them in there while I can.
You've got to do your stint, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely.
How important is that issue of sponsorship? Because I mean, obviously you've got to make a living out of your performances and your performances as an athlete. So how important is that?
No, it's definitely a massive part of it. Like you said, I want to make a living out of the sport I do, and obviously it's a dream that I'm trying to chase and a hobby, but realistically I want to give everything I've got to it day in, day out. So the more sponsors I get, the easier it is for me to commit to the dream and the goal that I want. So and obviously it gets us out there, gets our names out there, gets them out there, the promotion, and to be honest, if there's any more, come my way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, well, I'm on the
Coca-Cola.
I'm on the no sugar stuff.
Oh, you on zero?
Yeah, but I'm not an Olympic athlete, so I need to build up to it. So, here's to you. Thanks for coming on anyway.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So where do we start? Well, you're still in your 20s.
Barely, like.
You're still just about clinging on. Wait till you hit 44. But you've already got a glittering career behind you in terms of your medals. You've just won the European Championship. And you're heading off to Tokyo for the Olympics to represent your country in a month of those time. So you must be feeling pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Like, to be fair, I never really look back and see what I've done. I'm always trying to get to the next one. But when you do actually say it out loud, it is quite a big achievement when I have got triple world champion, triple European champion. I've won basically everything, but I just need that last one now in the Olympics and turn the bronze I got last time into gold.
Well, I'm really looking forward to talking to you about that. But for someone who's never done Taekwondo like me, when you're on the mat and you're facing an opponent who you know is competent, you know they're an athlete of at least similar commitment to you, and particularly in the days when we've got crowds, when hopefully that won't be too far away. How are you feeling at that point at the start of the fight?
I think now, obviously, I've done it so many times at a professional level, world-class level, and everyone that we fight is the top best. Competitions that we go to are only the top 32 people in the world. So we know who we're up against is going to be world-class, and physically everyone can do every kick, can do all the flashy kicks, basic kicks, everything. But then that's when it turns from being physical into mental, and it's all about your mind set and your mind approach. And because everyone trains hard, you can't say no one doesn't train hard. They give everything they've got, they put the work and the hours in and the blood, sweat and tears. But when it comes down to it on that ring or on that mat, it's the person that doesn't crack or doesn't mentally give in, which makes the difference and which sets aside the winner from the loser.
I'm sure. And just on that mental side, when you're there and you're ready to start, are you feeling calm at that point?
No, I'm never calm. I think I've just practiced it over and over again enough times to try and get myself in a good place. So when the referee, basically you have to come into the middle, bow, face your opponent, and then when the referee moves the hand, then it's game on. I think I've got to that point now where I've practiced it day in, day out. When that referee puts the hand up, it's literally automatic and it'll go to fight mode, and I'm just in this zone where I've practiced and tactically practiced what I need to do.
No, I can totally understand that, because it's such an explosive form of combat. But it's clear just even from watching it that it's like chess, isn't it? It's kind of like really moving technically.
Yeah, so like I said before, everyone's the top player in the world. We've all fought each other over and over again. So we know each other's styles, we know kicks, we know styles outdo other styles. So like you said, it is about being a step ahead. So you've got to set people up for headshots, knockout shots. You've got to be in that moment, because you could go in there, have a plan, and the next minute you've got kicked in the face, then what are you going to do? So you can't just sulk and moan. You've got to turn it round, or you're going to get kicked again in the head. So you've got to find what is working for you tactically. You've got to be 3 steps ahead of someone, or if it doesn't go round, you have to have another step ahead of it. But it's all automatic. You get used to that in training, you get practice, and I don't ever go in thinking too much. I literally don't think sometimes, and have some main things to focus off, and then after that I'm free, calm, like water, like Bruce Lee would say.
It is that issue of focus though, isn't it? You can get that. And what about the crowd? Are you someone who feeds off the crowd?
Yeah, I love a good crowd, especially when they cheer you on and they don't boo you or not, and they actually like you. Everyone's seen Gladiator, and you've got to win the crowd and be part of the crowd. And I think athletes deep down all want to be a show off, or want to be the number one, don't they? You want the attention. So if you could go out there and the crowd is behind you, you love it, no matter what anyone says.
No, I can imagine. And how in that case then has COVID affected that side of your performance? Because obviously no crowds. Has that had an adverse effect, or is it just something you've got on with?
Obviously, hopefully there is a crowd in the Olympics, but there's other issues that there might be no one there, so it might be behind closed doors. But I think that's when it comes back to being a professional athlete. Okay, there's no crowd, you're still going to do your job, or you're just going to moan because there's no crowd. So you've got to remember you train behind closed doors, you fight all them little competitions behind closed doors. So if you're going to do it one time, make sure you do it at the right time. And if there's no crowd at the Olympics, even though we want it, hopefully there's a crowd behind the TV watching us.
Yeah, that's true.
Think of it in a different way. So obviously I'd love my family and friends to go and people shout on my name there, but if it's behind closed doors and I have a chance still to win the Olympics, then I'd take it any day.
Yeah, I'm sure. Absolutely. So let's wind back a bit. Can we parachute in your mid-teens? Because at that point, you'd already been fighting for a little while.
Yeah.
And then you were met with this really interesting decision about where you went to school. Just tell us about that.
Yeah, so I started Taekwondo when I was 11. It was quite old, really, for most martial arts. Most people start 5 years old or something and work their way up. But I just started when I was 11. My friend, Becky, who's one of my best friends still now, took me after school. I didn't even know what it was. I couldn't spell the whole sport. I didn't know what it did. But I just fell in love with it. And before I know it, when I was 15, I got offered to go into the Great Britain National Academy, which is in Manchester. So I had to make a massive decision as a kid if I wanted to leave Liverpool and train every day 24/7 in Manchester, which at the time I didn't really know, like I said, what it was, what level I wanted to be at. I didn't know it was in the Olympics. I literally just thought, I like doing what I do. I'll move schools and take a leap of faith and and before you knew it, I'm sitting here now as triple world champion.
It's incredible. And I mean, obviously 15. So did you have GCSEs, for example, on the relatively near horizon?
Yeah, so I was in year 11. I still had the whole year 11 left and half of year 10. I actually did my GCSEs in a back room in Cuba on a training camp for the people who were going to Beijing Olympics. So I was like just randomly on this camp with the national team who were going to the Olympics in Beijing, and I did my part-time GCSEs in between training sessions.
I mean, this wasn't on your Wikipedia page that you did your GCSEs in Cuba.
I know, yeah, it's a little secret. It's an exclusive, that one.
But I mean, were the teachers in your old school, in your school in Liverpool, who were perhaps not as supportive as you would want them to be?
Yeah, so I actually remember telling one of the teachers that I was leaving, and they were like, what are you going to do? Sport the rest of your life? You need to do school. And then as soon as she said that moment and was like sort of doubting, I think that's when it became the competitiveness in me, because she said, "What you're not going to do sport for the rest of your life." I thought, you cheeky cow. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to chase a dream here. Just do something different, and I'll prove you wrong. And I think I've done all right so far to prove her wrong.
Well, you definitely have. I mean, let's just
love to see her now.
I know. Have you ever seen her since?
No.
Have you not?
Don't think I will. No.
She never dropped you like a line saying, "Well done, I was wrong."
No. I'm waiting for it.
Because you could rub it in and say, "I did my GCSEs in Cuba as well."
Yeah. I didn't do great in them. Like, I'm not saying that, but it was just like them. I'm already taking such a massive step in life as a young kid, and taking an opportunity, what I don't really know about, and to hear a little bit negative from it was like, oh, am I doing the right decision? Do you know what I mean? When that's where you've got to back yourself up to, it's my life, it's what I want to do. Don't let anyone stop you from doing what you want to do in life. Even if it's right or wrong, it's your decision.
Well, it totally is. And I mean, this really interests me, because obviously what a lot of we talk about on the podcast is sort of common traits in successful people. And we're going to talk to people from all walks of life, in business, in entertainment, in sport. And this issue of proving people wrong, I think, is one which is going to keep cropping up. Because, I mean, just looking back at my past, we've got businesses in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
I remember when we were setting up our first international business in Australia, this issue of, why are you doing that? Australia's miles away. And I was just like, well, I'm doing it because I've kind of got a plan that I believe in and I feel really passionate about. And there definitely has been an element since then of thinking, well, do you know what? I really believe in what I'm doing, so I'm going to crack on and do it.
And the weather's really warm.
I wish I'd done my GCSEs out there. But yeah, I think that's something I'm going to keep coming back to on the podcast. And I mean, there's some other things in your career which totally, I think, resonate with that. In terms of that period of time, because you were sort of fighting in European Championships almost immediately, weren't you?
Yeah. So I think straight away, there's a European and a World every other year, so it's every 2-year gap. And with the national team, I'm in the national team, so it's straight away I would go out there, and if I was good enough to go, I would be in that category in the senior competition. I actually started doing senior competitions when I was like 15, 16, because I was good enough to just be in there. I didn't think I was, to be honest, but just to try and have a go, and then now it's just second nature.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously in that kind of window, sort of 15, 16, 17, 18, I've got to say I wasn't living the life of an elite athlete at that time.
Yeah.
And you must have been still in touch with family and friends back in Liverpool, sort of a similar age, who would get into the whole going out and going on lads and girls holidays and all that sort of thing. How did that influence your thinking at all? Did you ever have a moment where you thought, do you know what, am I missing out on being a teenager here? Or?
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, you still think that a little bit now, because you give so much and you're dedicated to what I want to do. I know what it takes to be at the level. So I had to miss out on parties I couldn't go to, or if I did, I would be terrible the next day in training, and it'd be like, is this really what I want? And I think our coaches and the support that we had there was always, and even the other athletes a similar age, were we can do that when we finish. We can do that when I've done and I've got my medal I want or the achievement I want. There's no time frame to live your life. I can do it when after. So when I do win and finish the Olympics, I'll probably go on a big mad one. But I don't feel like I've missed out because I've achieved so much more as well.
Well, I mean, that's right, isn't it? And I think particularly being a Taekwondo fighter, turning up hungover is not only you maximise your performance, you get your head kicked in, don't you?
You're going to get, you must have some concussion at some point. So definitely not a good mix.
I think it's a wise decision. So then you started to win medals. You won a medal at the European Championships and the World Championships. You were in the Olympic squad to perform at home in London, and then you got injured. So tell me about that. It's 2011.
No, so it actually came a bit before that. So I got injured just before I started winning the big majors.
Oh, okay.
So I won my first. I was winning. I was in like open gold championships and internationals, but not like a gold. I got like a bronze at European Championships and stuff. Right. But so it started it off, which I was so young at. But then in 2011, I was trying to make the team for London 2012, and there was 3 girls, myself and two other girls, and you could only take 2 spots because it was given 2 automatic spaces for London. So then just before London, I ruptured my ACL, and I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what an ACL was. This main ligament in my knee was snapped in half, and no one had that injury, that kind of severe injury for a long time in the team. So it was a massive, massive heartbreak and chance that I couldn't even try and qualify for London. But I actually did fight 2 months and 3 weeks after my operation because I wanted to just give it a go, and I knew I wasn't going to come out with anything, but I thought, I'd rather try, have a go and see what happens. And I won like 1 fight and then lost the second one. I don't know how I won the first one.
But it's incredible that you're fighting so soon after that.
I know, I don't think the surgeon likes me very much. And then I obviously didn't go, got picked, the team did fantastic. And then I was back on track thinking it's okay, I'll go to Rio, I'll make it all happen there, and then I started to become like a better athlete. In 2014, I won my first major senior competition. I won the European Championships, and then from there it was like, this is it, I can do it. I'm only 2 years out from the Olympics, I'll get myself up. And then 3 months after that competition, I ruptured the other leg, snapped in half straight away, and because I already knew what the first one took from me and how much it was so hard to get back, and the rehab and the rehabilitation from it was just ridiculous. Like, I knew I had to do that all again. So straight away I was just unbelievable, like devastated. I didn't know what to do. But I think literally that week, what I did, I changed my mindset straight away and was like, well, I've already done it now. I know what to do. People have written me off before. I seen it when they written me off before my first one. I'll just come back stronger and better. And then from then,
it's been your launching pad, hasn't it? It really has. It's
became
phenomenal.
A bit of a beast, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely,
and
savage.
Then I won the world and so on and so on and so on. So
well, we're gonna come to that so on, because it's pretty impressive what you did after that.
But after that, the 2014, not the operation one, I actually only had just under 7 months for that World Championships again. So 7 months is nothing for the ACL reconstruction, and I had 5 fights and won them all and became world champion.
I bet your surgeon wasn't too happy then.
No, he liked me then. He liked
did he?
me. I went back to the same one.
Fair enough.
Yeah, hi Phil.
You know, just talking about the injury period, because in that 2 relatively quick successions, you had these 2 serious injuries. Yeah. Who did you have around you at those times, sort of supporting you and giving you that resilience that you built up?
I think like we have, so obviously because we were part of the Great Britain national team, like we had the physio, psychologist, and team members as well, like and the people I live with. My flatmate actually is double Olympic champion Jay Jones, and we've lived together the whole time through, and we have always had someone with me, and my boyfriend as well, Aaron Cook, he's always been there for me. He's actually here today, by the way.
He is.
And then yeah, so I've always had a good people around me, a good team, so they've always helped me. But the truth is, it's always down to yourself to be that person and give your heart and soul and truly believe in yourself, because at the end of the day, it's yourself that you've got to convince, and your body and your mind. So only you can do it, and everyone else is there for you, but you've got to do it yourself. And
it's that resilience again, isn't it? We talked about when you made this decision to ignore your teacher at school and just thought, well, no, I'm going to do this. So I think that's a common theme. We've mentioned already that the career of an athlete, or the majority of athletes, is relatively short. And the reality is that it can be cruelly cut short by these injuries. Was there ever anyone around you, or did you ever think, well, the risk of sort of trying to recover from these injuries and continue to fight at the highest level is too high, bearing in mind like the medium and long-term damage that was possible?
Yeah, like at the time, you just think you're injured, just fix me, it doesn't matter how you do it, but you've actually got to look up to your body, because you've got the body for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't just want to get through the sport, I want to get through the rest of my life in good health. And there was one point when I thought, is my body even good enough to be at this high level? Because I've took 2 serious, not little, like serious major injuries, and in such a short time as well, and to come back and try and compete, not just even enjoy Taekwondo, but compete at the world and top level alone was just like ridiculous. So even now, looking back and I say it, I think, bloody hell, like I've done all right to even come back, and I've got 4 screws in my knees, and I'm still kicking and screaming every day doing Taekwondo. But it is crazy to think like you've got to make sure you look after yourself and your body, because you've got it for the rest of this time that you're with, and one injury could just cut it off, or one bad fall or kick could ruin it.
But it's so impressive that you were able, as part of that determination to get back, that you were able to factor that medium and long-term thinking into your rehab. Is that
definitely? Yeah. I think didn't used to like weights at all. I used to think, if I do weights, I'll put loads of weight on and stuff like that. I actually lost weight when I did weight. I got stronger. I got more robust with my knees, and it was the best thing I did. Now I'm obsessed with doing like strength and conditioning, and making sure that side of me is like a machine and a chain, a good solid base, because if I haven't got a good base or a good solid body, then how can I go and kick? Because it'll just snap again. So I've just got to make sure I'm the best version of myself, and then it'll give me that best opportunity.
Well, it's interesting because just before the break, I wanted to just ask you about this issue of your routine. Yeah. So in terms of training, from what you just said, it sounds like there's much more to training than just fighting.
Oh yeah.
So you're lifting weights and that sort of thing as well, are you?
Yeah. So in like a daily week, in a weekly like routine, I would train mainly Monday to Friday, and I'd train 2 to 3 sessions a day. Each session would be like up to 2 hours long. It'd be like Taekwondo in the morning, then Taekwondo again in the afternoon, and then there'd be like a strength or a conditioning session. And at one point I would do strength every day just to make sure I was doing rehab and like enough to make sure I was enough to do Taekwondo. So it is pretty full on. But then the weekends I would do absolutely nothing and would just lay there like a lazy potato, and then start again on Monday and do it all again.
But you must need that weekend for your recovery, must you? If you're working out to that extent.
Yeah, definitely. You need to recover just as much, because your body's got to be able to cope with what you've got. And then I've got to start again and do it all again on Monday. So if I don't, I'd go to a meal and I'd be absolutely knackered straight after, and I'd be like, I just want to go home, or I'd try and do something and it'd just write me off.
Yeah, just wait till you have kids. It's like that permanently.
Oh God.
So just to finish off, that in itself requires a lot of commitment from a training perspective. What about nutrition? You must be burning so many calories. Do you even have to think about following a particular diet?
Well, I'm actually quite lucky because I'm in heavyweight. I actually can weigh what I want to weigh over plus 67 kilos, or if I do the worlds it's plus 73 and I weigh like 77 kilos. And to be fair, because I've not been at the diet or not like changed metabolism, I've done well and I can eat what I want, train as much, and then I'm actually quite good. But there's some people who actually have to cut weight quite a bit, like you see it all the time off UFC fighters, martial arts fighters. They have to cut like 10 kilos just to make the weight because it's a better advantage for them. But I'm actually quite lucky. I'm in the top weight, the heavyweight category, so I eat what I want. That's why I've got a pizzeria restaurant.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, we're going to come to that because that's been absolutely fantastic. So we've got up to the part where you fought back from these 2 injuries. I want to move on to the World Champs 7 months after you got back, the launching pad from there, and then I'd love to talk to you a bit about the pizzeria, your other ideas for business in the future, and crucially, I want to just learn how these different traits of success are going to stand you in good stead for the future, because I definitely reckon they will. So bear with us, guys. Back with Bianca the other side of the break, and if you don't come back for this, then what's wrong with you? You need this podcast more than I even thought you did.
It's half time, gang. Thank you to today's sponsors, who are my friends at Zeus Technology Solutions. Zeus are a full-service tech business, providing business clients with system and software support. Zeus are on a recruitment drive at the moment, guys. So if you are a system or .NET developer who's looking for a change of career, go on to Zeus's website, which is going to be on our socials, and have a look at what is available. They are a fantastic business to work for with a good package, great benefits, flexible working, and loads of career progression. So that's Zeus Technology Solutions, who are also offering in the very near future, beyond their website, an opportunity for anyone wanting a new type of job to train up as a developer in Zeus from scratch. So if you've got a job, you don't like it, you want to change your plan, please do log on to Zeus Technology Solutions website. It's on our socials, and take a look at what's available. And now it's back to my chat with Bianca Walkden.
And we're back with Bianca.
Hello.
Good to see you. So we got through the period where you had those 2 awful injuries, and then you were fighting in the World Championship 7 months later.
Yeah, so it was in Russia, and I just thought to myself, no one thinks I should be here anyway. I've got such a bad knee. The other knee is only just about recovered, like back at 100%, and I've got nothing to lose here, so I might as well just give it everything I've got. And mentally, I got into a place where I thought I didn't have that many kicks either at this point, because I couldn't do every kick because of my knee. So I just had these 3 things to work on, and I just thought I'll just do these 3 things, stay in the fight, and give it everything I've got. And it was probably there and then I learned about how to be in the ring, and it just did wonders for me. And I stayed so focused, did the plan, made sure I did what it took to win, and before I knew it, I won them 5 fights, and I was world champion. And in the final, actually, in the one, I was against a current world champion, and she was a great athlete from France called Gladys. And I was actually losing all the way until I think like 10 seconds left, and I kicked it in the head, and then I went up to 3-2. The referee took it off me, and I just remember then I didn't even care. I just thought I'll go again and do it again. And then in 9 seconds I got another head shot, and then I was back up. And to be in that position and win, be losing, win, they take it off me, and I just have to go out and focus again and win it again. I learned there how much the mind is so important. She was panicking about me coming at her. I wasn't bothered. I was just thinking, let's get me point. And then I realised how mentally strong you have to be in them situations. And ever since then, I've just tried to get better and better at it.
And mental strength, I mean, I can see what you mean in terms of winning, but just even competing in it after what you've been through.
Yeah.
How were you? Were you going along thinking, I'm just going to this is what it is, or were you still wanting to go there and win?
No, deep down, I always wanted to win. I put loads of pressure on myself all the time. Like, it's not like I'm in this clear mindset all the time. I'm up and down thinking, but it doesn't matter as long as when I fight in them 3 2-minute rounds, fighting with each person, and I concentrate the most. And I think that's when it's key. You can be crying and going crazy just before the fight, but at that moment when it really truly matters, that's when you can't let it break you.
What was the feeling like when you were stood on the what did they call it, the podium?
Yeah.
And you'd won gold. How did that feel?
It was just unbelievable. I remember my face dropped and I was just like, oh my God, I've done it. I was like touching my knee, like, oh, I've done it with this knee. And then I was on the podium and I just couldn't stop smiling, just looking up, thinking, oh, I've won. Things like that. And the national anthem was coming up, and it was nice to win the Europeans just before, but to win the World Championships the year after with the injury I had, not many people had done it. There was only one other female athlete who did it, called Sarah Stevenson, and I was the second one after that to do that, and it was just unbelievable to be part of that level, on that world-class level.
Absolutely. I mean, how did your family feel about it? They must have been so delighted.
Yeah, God, there's always a story, isn't there? It was actually amazing with my family and everything, but that day, unfortunately, like, my granddad was sick for a whole week before I went. He was quite bad, and I remember saying to him, "Don't worry, Granddad, I'm going to come back and win gold for you." But I rang home and tried to show him, and he actually died. I think 3 hours just before I won that final. My granddad, Pasquale Di Scala. So it's like crazy how it's so linked and so bittersweet, but that day I'll never forget, because I think in that day and all that time, he's definitely helped me get that point, because to get that headshot and take it off and get it on again, it's pretty special. So I think he helped me out.
Absolutely. He might give you an extra push there.
Yeah, definitely so.
Oh, what a cauldron of emotions, though, in terms of what you and your family were going through, the elation.
I rang home, I texted him straight away. Obviously, I didn't know. And I rang and everyone was in the house. And I knew instantly then. I knew there and then what had happened. But I think it was nice for my family to have that as well, because it was such a bad time and they knew what I was doing. It was like, it sort of helped a little bit. Obviously, nothing can help it, but just to go through them up and down emotions was ridiculous. Like,
oh, God,
it's never easy, it's never normal.
No. So then it was Olympics. It was Rio, wasn't it, in 2016? Yeah,
so then we went on to another Europeans, which I won, and then I went on to the Olympic Games for going in there as world and European champion and hoping to come out with gold there, but I actually came away with bronze. I was devastated, even though it was such a great achievement. Like I said before, the pressure I have on myself is always all or nothing. So I'm happy I came away with an Olympic bronze medal, but I just wanted the gold so bad. It was ridiculous. So
was it just that in the sort of the draw that you kind of had the final in the semi-final, so to speak?
Yeah,
you were
basically.
Fighting,
yeah. So in the semi-final that I had, so I won 2 fights before that. I went into the semi-final, and it was me or the Chinese girl, and we knew before this competition it was going to be me or her who won. We were like the most consistent ones in that weight, and it actually went down to the wire. We went to sudden death, and then it was the first person to score. I thought I scored, but then I actually fell and got like clipped on the way in, and she went through, and then I had to actually go out and fight for a bronze medal, which I just did not want to do for the fourth, because you don't just get given the bronze, you have to go and fight for it.
Yeah.
And I remember just going, no, I'm not going. Like, I'm not going out there. I don't want to fight. Like, I didn't come here for bronze. I come here for gold. But I remember my coach Paul Green at the time said, "Listen, you have to change that now. That bronze medal you're going to fight for is your new gold medal. So you need to go out there, otherwise you'll regret it for the rest of your life." And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm not doing it. I remember walking out to the crowd thinking, oh, I'll just go. And then I see my family in the crowd, and I remember my little brother looked at me and was like, come on. And I thought, oh God, I'm going to have to do it now. And I, just because they're there. But I don't think if I didn't see that, I wouldn't have went for it. And then I did really well, battered the girl, and then came home with bronze.
Let's just explore this for a minute, because on the one hand, you face such a huge challenge
to
in
pick
terms of coming
myself
back
up.
from injury. But then something like this, it doesn't sound like it knocked your confidence. It just sort of disappointed you to the level that you thought, well, this isn't kind of my goal. So what's the point?
I think it's because obviously we always strive to be the best, and then once you get something, you're not happy. You just want to get more. So then the next thing I wanted was that Olympic one, and I had the Europeans, I had the Worlds. I think I was like coming up in the ranking, and that was the last thing I needed, and I knew I could do it. So then, because I set my mind and goal on just that, it was like a bit soul crushing. But then looking back now, I'm obviously happy and appreciate what I've done at the time. But don't get me wrong, I still want gold in Tokyo.
We're gonna come to that. It's interesting, isn't it? I think it's one of kind of the downsides of being successful, insofar as you're always looking. You want perfection, and you're always also looking forward. I mean, I've just learned, particularly because what we've done in business is we've failed quite a lot. We've succeeded at times. We've done things right. We've done things wrong. That's pretty much been the way my life has been as well, as most people's lives are. Absolutely. And I must admit, I just think of it now on the basis that your failures make the successes a bit more sweet.
No, 100%, yeah, definitely. If it was all just plain sailing, then what's the point? Do you know what I mean? It seems like anyone could do it then, or there's people who can go out and just win everything because it's normal, and then there's people who don't achieve what they want to achieve, and then you have up and down roller coaster stories, and mine's definitely been a roller coaster up and down, but ending quite well, hopefully. And I don't think I would be the athlete I am today, or how much commitment and motivation I have, if I didn't go through all them injuries. And even getting bronze at the Olympics, after that I won absolutely everything. I became world number one. I won every Grand Prix in 1 year. The only one to do it. I've won the Worlds again. I've won the Europeans again. I don't know, maybe if I won that Olympics, would I have won what I've won now? You just don't know. So you just don't know if that's motivated me, because it definitely, as soon as I did lose, I wanted to be back in the gym straight away and become world champion the year after, to make sure I did something else and it wasn't like just a one-time thing or a fluke. So I reckon everything I've been through has made me who I am today, and I wouldn't change it, definitely.
Well, I mean, again, we're back here, aren't we, to the traits of success, and that ability to look back and reflect on disappointments.
Yeah.
To me, is one of the things which makes a successful person. Either not hanging on to the sort of the feeling.
Don't let it pull you down.
Totally, because you ultimately it then gets in your way of moving forward and achieving your potential. So it's about, isn't it, just kind of leaving things behind, not forgetting how you felt, but not letting it hold you back. Yeah,
so it's like learning from mistakes and choices. Like, you have choices and choices in life, but if you don't learn from it, then it's not a mistake. It's you chose to live like that again. You have a mistake in life. You choose to do the same thing or learn from what's happened. So I've definitely learned from all that. Mental side, physical side. What do I need? What's going to help me be a better version of myself? But at the end of the day, sport is literally a roll of the dice as well. That's why people watch, people gamble on sport. The underdog could take out number one, anything. And I think, like, once you accept that, it makes it actually easier anyway, because then there's less pressure or less like you haven't failed, you've give your best, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
To be the best. And I think understanding that mentally in life and sport is definitely crucial, because you could think you fail and you haven't.
Exactly.
What's failing? Do you know what I mean? It's only what you put your perspective on it, or succeeding. So it's definitely find what you want in life, give your own goals in life, and be happy. Otherwise, you're just going to be a miserable sod.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's about that peace with when you don't achieve perfection, and it's such a key part of success. But talking of success, I mean, this period between then and now, I mean, those of us who look at your CV, it's just mind-blowing. I mean, the success you've achieved if we went through every one of the goals you've won, we'd be here all night.
Yeah.
But you've just, it's almost perfection. I mean, the one which really sort of made me jump out was you won the world champs again back on home soil in Manchester, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then in the final, you were successful, but not without a degree of controversy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what happened there?
So I was in the final again with my mate, China. We're always in the final competing, having this big rivalry. And I went into the fight, got through all of the 4 fights before, 3 or 4 fights before. And then I was there, and then it started. And in the first round, I got caught a few times. Like, I think I was down like a few points. But I couldn't score. I just couldn't score on the pad. We have like feet sensors on the socks, and then it's got to make impact to the body or head. But I just couldn't get it. I don't know why. Just sometimes it doesn't happen. I thought, what's going on? But then she kept like going out the ring and like moaning a little bit and like whinging, and she'd be getting they're called gamjung. So like if you get a warning, so basically a warning. But if you get 10 of these warnings in the time that you fight, you're disqualified, because otherwise you're just running away, making mistakes, and you're not fighting basically. And I remember coming off the first round, and I think I was like, I don't know, let's just say 6-0 down or something. And I thought, I'm going to get disqualified like instantly. I had 2 more rounds left. I could have brought it back with anything, but I thought, she's going back. I want to find a way to win. I want to become world champion again. I'm not just sitting here and waiting for silver. I'm going to die trying for getting gold. And then I came back and I thought, I'll still get points, but if I can, I'll make her frustrated and get her some warning. So I just went at her, started like attacking, pushing her back, kicking, pushing. But she was like holding and grabbing and trying to survive. And the referee, you're not allowed to survive.
Right,
you're allowed to push. You've got to fight. So she's just racking up. And when I thought, oh God, what's she doing? Does she even know what's going on? Like, I'll just keep doing. All I seen was red and thought, that's it, go. Like, go for gold. And then I did it. And before the end of the 3rd round, I think I did it in like a minute left to go as well. She got 10 warnings and I became world champion. But I didn't score. It was because I went for it. I pushed her. I tried to be in her face and go after the gold medal.
But there's different ways to win situations in any form
there's
of
loads
life.
of times people have been disqualified in Taekwondo, but normally like it wouldn't be a world final because you wouldn't give yourself in that opportunity, sorry. But then that's it. She was sulking, she was moaning. The crowd was like a bit like on her side, and I was just like, what's going on? I did what I had to do. An athlete, this is what I would have done. Any other person and any other athlete would have done the same thing if they could. And then that hurt me though, because it was like, oh, do I deserve to win the last one? But looking back now, I seen an opportunity to win. I took what every sports person would, and that's why I'm here and I'm world champion now and world #1, because I have that desire to win and go for it. And I didn't break any rules, didn't bend any rules. I just did what it just wasn't how I wanted. So next time I'll just try and knock it out and make it a bit more pleasing for the crowd.
Well, she won't like that either.
Yeah. She'll cry about that one.
But the thing is, though, I mean, I think winners, they use rules and regulations as a framework.
Yeah.
But they use them as the maximum, not the minimum. It means if you follow the rules and you win, then you've won.
And at the end of the day, the referee has to decide.
Of course,
that,
exactly.
And it has to be enough to get out there. But don't get me wrong, after it was I've never mentally been through that kind of stuff. I got like quite a bit of bad social media responses from a lot of people from China saying like, I just pushed it, it was terrible, I don't deserve to win, etc. like that. But all them trolls and all them people, like, they went the month after when I was back fighting them, and they were all my friends again and all trying to be nice. And so it just shows you the world and society of how like people can jump on the social media and put you down and put you in that place and like try and pull you down with them. So you've just got to ignore it. But because I've never been through that before, it was actually quite hard to deal with at the time. And I never truly appreciated that win because of that moment. And now looking back, I don't care because I've learned from it and grew from it, and I'm still sitting here as world champion.
Well, you are, and also, I mean, just that attitude that you've shown throughout your life of, I'm not going to let them hold me back. I'm going to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
That must have stood you in good stead. Because, I mean, I'm with you on social media. It's got loads of positives.
Yeah.
But one of the things I want to talk about in the podcast is we mustn't let what is really just chatter get in the way of moving forward really positively.
Yeah, definitely. There's always someone who's going to pull you down. You see it a lot in boxing. How many people say that they should have done this, you should have done that. Oh my God, he's stupid. He got knocked out or whatever. But you're just sitting on the couch. Them two guys are killing themselves in the ring, and you're judging them just on your couch, on your phone, whatever.
What's the thing?
Or someone doesn't like your picture. It's just the world of society with the way social media is growing. But there is that positive side of it as well. You've just got to try and control and not take too much of the negative side of it.
Totally. So, it's great to hear you mentioned the pizza business earlier.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to the Olympics at the end just to finish off, if that's okay.
Yeah. But
in terms of the pizza business, tell me about that. How did that all come about?
Yeah, so me and my family decided to do something different, and then we ended up coming away with a pizzeria, thinking of it. Wanted to help out on my mum and dad and that, and we're half Italian, so definitely wanted to get that involved, that Italian side of us. So my mum is a really good chef, and we thought we'll do this pizzeria restaurant. But I actually won the money that I put into the pizzeria through a Grand Slam competition. It's one of the first Taekwondo competitions where we could win some money, and I actually came away the winner and won it was like $70,000 at the time, but I ended up getting like $30,000 or pounds or something. And I put that money into the pizzeria restaurant, and I've actually got a picture of me with this money, and it says pizza money on before the shop. And then we thought we'd do this, put it up, and then before we knew it, we've got a pizzeria restaurant in Maghull called Di Scala.
Obviously, we've got loads of people from that part of the world who listen to the podcast. So,
yeah.
I've been to Di Scala's. It's fantastic pizza. It
Thank
really
you.
is. And of course, the life of an athlete, as we said, is quite short. Is sort of using the Di Scala's brand as to move you into business. Is that something you're interested in?
Yeah, I'm definitely into the business side. Next, after this, I want to open my own sports complex. I want a mixed martial art gym and centre with, as well as a gym for anyone to go to, a local your typical gym. So I definitely want to put my eggs in some baskets and make businesses, a Taekwondo club, everything, and the pizzeria was the start of that. So hopefully you'll see more and more.
And in terms of the sports complex, don't they have these in the UFC? Do you want in Las Vegas?
Yes, they have a UFC in Performance Institute in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I've been there. It's great. It's the fantastic facilities, and hopefully I can get something like that in Liverpool and get the true fighters out there, and maybe, I don't know, hopefully one day that would be absolutely great if I could link it with UFC, get the people and the talent coming through there and make a sports complex for everyone.
Well, there's definitely an opportunity there, isn't that? That's clear. We've gone through some of the traits, some of the characteristics you've developed as part of your career as an athlete.
Yeah.
What do you see as the ones which you can maybe take into the business arena when your Taekwondo career finishes?
I think definitely the commitment and the hard work that I've had to put in through training. If you want to succeed in anything in life, you've got to put the hard work, and it's not just about talent. It's about digging deep, doing the hours, putting it in, definitely persisting and persevering for that opportunity. And I think as well, I understand what it's like to lose and win. So knowing a failure doesn't mean you're written off. It's just a little setback, and okay, I've took one step back, I can take 2 steps forward now, or use that mentality I've took from it and resilience into life.
Yeah, definitely. That resilience is definitely right, because it's like anything. When your GCSE teachers told you that, you can't do that, you can't have a career in sport. Well, exactly. And there's always going to be people in business who says, well, what do you do that for? Well, people will have thought of doing that before, so why do you want to do it now?
No one likes an idea until it's big And then they're like, oh, I should have got on that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's too late then.
And sometimes it's just because they can't paint the picture.
Yeah.
I think people who are truly determined can see that picture being painted.
You make your own picture, don't you?
Well, you do, and I can see what the sports complex would do and the potential in the pizza business.
And
so,
it's something I love and linked with, like sport and martial arts. So for me, it's perfect. And if it can help anyone on the way, then that's even better.
Absolutely. So next for you is you're flying to Tokyo to represent Britain in the Olympics.
Yes,
so when do you fly?
I fly like beginning of July, but I actually compete on the 27th of July. So make sure you watch me, guys. The last day of Taekwondo, it's like the 4th or 5th day into the Olympics. So yeah, definitely watch me win gold, hopefully.
And how are you feeling about it? You've obviously in great shape. You're obviously in great levels of confidence. You've just won the European Championships a few months back. I mean, you must be brimming with confidence.
Yeah, I am. I just can't wait now because we've been postponed for a year and everything with COVID, and now I just want to get out there. I want to give myself a chance and die trying for that chance and that moment to hopefully come away with gold.
What are you going to do if you face the opponent you had in Manchester?
Well, she's on the other side, so she'll have to get there herself to the final. But if I get there and she gets there, then bring it on. It's a fight, innit?
Game on.
Game on.
Yeah, I think you'll win that one as well.
Yeah. Hope so. Put me bets on now.
Oh, listen, it's just been such a delight meeting you, Bianca. Congratulations for all of your success and for your commitment, for your resilience, for your fighting spirit.
Thank you.
I found it really inspirational. I know that everyone listening and watching will feel exactly the same. And I don't think I'm going to be alone on thinking we're meeting a gold Olympic champion in a few weeks. So let's give a round of applause, guys, and say good luck. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Bianca. We'd love to have you back, and very best luck for Tokyo.
Definitely. Thank you for having me, and hopefully I can come back on when I've got gold next time.
Definitely. Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
See you, Bianca.
Oh, that was a great interview, wasn't it? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did. I did really enjoy it. Bianca, I mean, you've got to remember when you're speaking to Bianca that she's one of the most successful athletes in the history of the sport. And to combine that level of success and that level of commitment with sense of humour, with humility, with really good perspectives on everything that she's achieved, I found it to be really, really impressive. And I thought that the toughness that she's had to show across her career, because she's had some downs as well as ups. I thought that resilience she's built up is a real characteristic of successful people. Mm-hmm. But she also doesn't take herself too seriously.
No, she had a great personality, lovely
really
aura about
did.
her. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, do you know, the one thing that struck out for me was when she won she had to go in for a bronze medal, and she was gutted about it, but she carried on and she won it, and she used that and took that to get her next gold medal, which I just found was amazing that she could use something.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you know what? On that, it was so interesting, wasn't it? Because her initial reaction to losing, to missing out on the final was emotion, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That she thought, I've come here for gold. If I'm not walking away with gold, I'm not walking away with anything. Now that's an understandable emotional reaction, but I was impressed with the way she was able to rationalise it afterwards. And obviously she's got a really good coach around her. She had other colleagues around her who said, you'll regret this if you don't go out there and fight. And it was, to me, that's a very good perspective. When you have failure, when you have challenge, it doesn't mean that you've got to just move on from them without any sort of emotional response. You're not human if you don't respond emotionally. But I do think that winners, they tend to pull away, rationalise, and think, what's the best I can make of this situation? And bronze in an Olympic Games isn't too bad, is it really?
Definitely not. So what would you say the main thing you took from the interview was?
Well, I certainly think that you can't underestimate the sacrifice that anyone who's a professional athlete has to go through. I mean, the question, we've got to bear in mind that when Bianca took the decision to commit a career to Taekwondo, she was in a period of her life where most of us are just interested in nights out and friends and all the rest of it. And I don't think you can underestimate that level of sacrifice, but I do agree with her that, you can you can position those sort of experiences in other times of your life, and particularly with the life of an athlete, well, most athletes being quite a short one. I think the sacrifice has paid off, and the fact she was able to look back with that degree of reflection, I thought was brilliant. So she was a great guest, wasn't she?
Yeah, she definitely was, and I'll be certainly cheering her on. For
That's a really good point. She's in the Olympic Games in Tokyo in July. I want everyone, all of our viewers and listeners, to cheer her on, because she was absolutely great. So that was Bianca Walkden, who is a triple world champion in the sport of Taekwondo. I thought she was fantastic. I hope that you've really enjoyed as well. Hope to see you soon. Simon Gibson, that was Success Won't Come Calling, episode 2.